begin to show up in certain spaces, people subconsciously hold you to a certain.
Welcome back to the Slaying Self Doubt YouTube channel. Here is where we empower Black women to overcome their doubts, fears, and insecurities in order to walk into their God given purpose. How do we do that, you ask? Well, we create safe and brave spaces just like this for Black women to show up authentically as themselves. So join me and sometimes some of my friends or our journey as we remind you that you are not alone. I am Coach Felicia, and together we will find our fears and slay them. Hey Slayers, welcome back to another episode of the Slaying Self Doubt Podcast. I am here with Patricia Rain from Traveling or Mobile Spa down in Florida, y'all. Down in the what state? They call it the Sunshine State, right? Welcome, Rain. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. So, guys, when we have people on the show, we definitely are trying to touch all the areas, right? And y'all know I am big into self-care. Okay, take care of yourself. And what better way to take care of yourself than to have a mobile spa? Like, I really, when I saw what you were doing, I was like, "Now, why she not in Maryland?" Because this don't seem fair. However, it is what it is. I just make sure when I'm down in Florida, I got to come see you. All right. So we'll
Absolutely.
make sure that's what we gonna make sure that we do. So Rain, before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started?
How I got started in the mobile spa space or in the beauty business itself.
All of it. We want to know it all.
Yeah, oh, perfect. So, a little backstory. So, I came into the beauty industry at the tender age of 9 years young. I
Wow.
my interest started very, very young because my mom is a licensed beauty professional, and so she was a manicurist. She still is a manicurist, and actually works with me in my company now.
I
And
love that.
she went to beauty school, and you know how inquisitive children can be, and
Yes.
so I was always in her things, always touching everything, doing everything. And so she really paid attention to how inquisitive I was. And so I was like, Mom, I want to go to beauty school. And she told me I had to wait till I was 16
Mm.
because in the state of Florida, you can get licensed in cosmetology at the age of 16.
Oh,
So
nice.
as you know, children tend to not forget anything their parents
All
promised them.
right. You
So
said.
on my 16th birthday, I was like, "So, are you still gonna pay for that?" And I'm just like, because I had to ask her one day. I'm like, "Mom, how did this all come about?" And remind me because people often ask me,
Yeah.
but then I want to say something that's truthful. And I was like, "Wow, that shows you how you cannot make any promises to
Yeah.
your children and not keep them.
Because they will, guess what? And then they will hunt you down, okay? To be
They
like,
will
you're
remind
the
you."
reason why I didn't reach my dreams because you said I can have it. Your mother said, not on my watch, okay?
Not on her watch. And so she paid attention to that curiosity. And so she agreed to pay for me to go to beauty school. At the time, I was a sophomore in high school. And so I would go to the night classes after, which was generally from 6 p.m. till about 9:30 p.m. And so I would
Mm-hmm.
do that. And I would have my Saturday classes. And the program was relatively short. It was about 4 to 6 months because
Okay.
obviously with me being in school, but when you're that young, you really don't have anything to do. So the time went by so quickly.
Right,
Um,
right.
I did the program, got my license. Obviously, I was in high school, so I worked on a lot of my peers. I worked in salons. I booth rented. I did services out of my mom's house. And then I went off to college. I am an HBCU graduate, Florida A&M University.
Hey.
I'm a rattler. And so I went off to college. I was a criminal justice major, I have a bachelor's in criminal justice. I was going to go to law school, but at the time
Wow.
when I graduated with my bachelor's, we were coming back from the economic downturn. And so a lot of my peers were very stressed
Mm-hmm.
with, just not being able to find employment. And so while I was in college, I always worked in a salon and kept my license. I turned my dorm room into a little salon.
Wow.
And people would come get their services done from me. And so I had the opportunity to work in day spas and all that jazz. And so once I graduated with my degree and I realized I wasn't going to go to law school, I started to become more interested on ways that I can take my beauty
Mm.
experience to the next level, just because I felt like I just didn't expose myself to the other possibilities that were out there.
Yeah.
'Cause honestly, I did see what I do as a hobby. I didn't see it as a career necessarily. And so, after taking these different business classes in a collegiate level, they talked about how people just don't know how to bridge that
Yeah.
connection to seeing their hobby as a
Mhm.
business.
Mhm.
And so I began to take it more seriously. And then I started to do more research and look for it. And then I wanted to go mobile. And then I didn't see there was that many mobile out there. And so there wasn't much information. And so I went on this whole quest to create this mobile experience.
Wow.
And it took me a while to actually take the leap of faith out there because, which is where the doubt comes from when you haven't seen it done or you
Yeah.
don't know how to do it, you do doubt yourself. And so it took me a while to embark on that journey, but eventually I did. And so the rest is history. And I'm sure you're going
Wow.
to ask me. That's the short version.
Yeah, no. I always love to hear the backstory because, like you said, you never know how something is created, right? And sometimes it is so sometimes it doesn't seem like it makes sense until it becomes full circle, and then you can see that, man, all the pieces were there all along, right? They may have been one piece over here, another piece over there, but once we get here, I'm able to see like where it's all connected. My question was, as you were talking, was like, okay, if your mom was a manicurist starting out, right, like how we get to mobile spa, and well, of course, I'm going to get into what it all entails, like, because of course initially I'm thinking most people think mobile spa, they think massages, right? And so I'm wondering, like, did you start with nails, hair? Because I don't think people don't always understand that, cosmetology, like, incorporates a lot of different things, a lot of different services. So did you start with something and then kind of ended up where you are, or you always had a passion for this portion, like what you're doing now?
Oh, that's a really great question because I actually, which a lot of people did not know about me, is I actually came into the industry on the hair side. My interest lied in hair. So
Well,
I
I
was a
didn't even
braider.
think that.
I came in as a braider because during that period where my mom told me that I wasn't old enough to get licensed yet, I decided to, like, hey, I'll just do my own hair, I'll braid. And so I
Yeah.
built a clientele. I would, like, back to school, I would have my mom's like living room packed with like young kids, parents who would bring their children to me for me to
Mm-hmm.
braid their hair. And so I would braid their hair, and that's how I made my little money to like buy all
Yeah.
my extracurricular stuff. And so I started as a hairstylist. And so my mom didn't stick with the nails because, as you know, in the beauty industry, you have to build the clientele. And so my parents are from the Caribbean. So I
Okay.
am Haitian descent. And so my mom has an accent. And so she didn't really feel confident in building her clientele the way that
Mm.
it required, and to raise her children. So she
Mm.
always worked like a regular job.
Yeah.
And it always got put to the back burner. So for
Ooh.
me, I, in a sense, had to kind of like figure that out because mom, decided not
Yeah.
to fully embark on the journey. But I came in as a hairstylist and then as a braider. Then I got my nail license. So I
Okay.
stopped doing hair. And then after about 10, 15 years as a manicurist, I went back to school and got my skincare license.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to see. Like I said, I know it all isn't incorporated. But I definitely didn't. I thought because your mother was a manicurist, you started in nails and stuff like that. So braiding was definitely not on my radar. I would not have picked that as an option on my bingo card. Like I would have, oh no, I don't think that was it. But that is so interesting. Because even as we get into this next question of how his self doubt showed up in your journey, the fact that you said that because of your mom's accent and how she even though she was good at what she did, but because of her own self-doubt, it caused her to push aside her dream and her passion of what she wanted to do. And just and I'm saying this word to just use it as an example, but not saying that she actually did, but to settle to do like what everybody else is doing versus pushing past that fear, right? And for me, it made me just think of how many of us have watched our moms as Black women watched our moms do that and think that that's what we're, well, she had to choose because she had kids, and then we become parents and we become spouses, and we're like, well, I watched them do it, even though they never said it, they never verbalized it, they know you shouldn't go after your dreams, we just watch them choose us, and how often we choose others instead of choosing ourselves first, and then whatever comes from that. Like, it just, that, see, that was like, that's going to take me all the way down this road. But we're
Mhm.
going to start with this question so you can answer, right? How has self-doubt showed up in your journey?
Oh, wow. So um just like you said, they don't intentionally teach you these things. When you are a child, you somewhat absorb the
Mm-hmm.
things that you are exposed to, and you pick up these behaviors, good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
Some serve you, some don't. And it's what happens is, as an adult, you have to learn to identify those things and to unlearn those things. And so um I will say that there were very times where I didn't even know that it was showing up as self-doubt, because you
Mm.
don't know what you don't know, right?
That's
And
facts.
if you don't know how to identify it, you don't really know what you're looking
What?
for.
Yeah, yeah. You don't know what to call it. It's just, we always say, I just feel some type of way, right? I don't know what it is. It's just some, I just feel a way, right? And then we just push it aside.
And you go back to doing things, you push it to the side and you don't take the time to analyze those things furthermore. And so for me, how I feel that self-doubt shows up is had shown up in my journey, and it peeks its ugly head out in various stages of your life.
Mhm. Mhm.
It looks differently in different stages, and so you have to, identify different ways to identify the self-doubt.
Correct.
So for me, what I had noticed was how small I played, and how people would
Mm.
say certain things, like, they would just kind of put me on this pedestal that I like should be here. And I'm just like, I'm like, I don't know why you think I'm here. And I'm just like over here. And I just started to pay attention to that. And I'm like, well, why do people, something's not adding up if people are seeing me here, but I
Mm.
don't feel that
Mm.
I'm there.
Mm.
And so I had to start paying attention to the behaviors that aligned with the self doubt or the things that I wasn't striving for. And so when I
Yeah.
would start to strive for more by putting myself in different environments where when I strive to put myself in different environments to learn different things, can you still hear me okay?
Mhm.
Perfect. I realized that, wow, those environments really made me pay attention to the things that I would do that was normal. For
Yeah.
instance, as a manicurist, I thought working in the salon was the only way
Mhm.
to create a life. But
Yeah.
there were so many ways with working with, celebrities, going mobile and all of these things. But I never saw those things for me because I didn't see those things.
Yeah.
So I never thought of putting myself in those spaces. And
Yeah.
so I would go to classes, continuing education classes, and I'm not gonna lie, the people that were hosting the classes, I was like, I could do better.
Mm. Cause we can and we do. Okay. Because we can and we do. But you know what the difference
Mhm.
between us is? The same people will, even I say this often, even when it comes to whatever we're putting out on social media, that they do not care, right? They're about getting their Rain, where you go? Rain, you
Yeah.
disappeared. Oh, okay. Those people don't care. They really are about getting their money. And this is the difference between, we strive. Yeah, oh, it goes so much deeper, right? We strive for so much perfection that we will continue to delay our progress until it looks and feels right. Where you have people who are like, I'm sitting in my car and I'm just going to do this thing and I'm going to show you how to do it. And then you be like, now how? I'm over here and been on Canva for 27 hours. I done redone the same thing over and over again. I done made the recording, edited, deleted it, started back over, wordsmith the words, tried to use AI. Like I'm doing all of these things instead of just doing it and showing up authentically as myself and then allowing my gifts to show it for themselves, right? And allow what it is that I do to just naturally take its course. We try to finagle it to just make it perfect every step of the way. And I always say, like, we are standing in our own way. We standing in our own way because we're over here like really just we're playing with our potential, and we're, as much as we say we're not comparing, we are comparing ourselves, but we got to do the work. We not we it takes something that's going to make us just like, okay, now like you gotta go. So did you have like a shift where it was like, now girl, you playing yourself, like what are you doing, Rain? Like what is happening?
Well, when I finally started to see it as a business,
Mm-hmm.
is when the shift happened for me.
Mm.
Because when you operate from a service provider mindset
Yeah.
versus a business mindset, it's different because there are things that you have to calculate, that you have to account for.
Yeah.
Like you said, spending hours on Canva. There's things that you don't do when you're just a service provider
Correct.
that you're kind of just like, oh, I'm just going to roll with it.
Right. Yes, that's what people be like. I just want to be an employee. Let me just clock in and clock out. Right. You don't have to worry about the ins and outs of the business. You don't have to worry about what's working, what's not working. You don't have to worry about customer feedback, or like I can't pay y'all, right? Because we don't know that sometimes, depending on what's happening, these people paying you out their pocket, because it may seem like people are paying, but somebody's call got declined, right? Like, and but I have you as an employee. You don't have to worry about those things. But when you step into the role of a business owner, now everything changes, and it's not just in your business; it's in your life, because you have to adjust everything
Mhm.
for being a business owner. So, what did you have to adjust, and what changed for you once you said, "We about to be a business"?
Man, so many things. So many things changed for me because I was like, wow, I have so many things to learn. And I'm like, this is why I played small, or why I doubted
Mm,
myself, is because I didn't like, there's things I didn't know. And there were things that I also, I, I just wasn't equipped to
yeah, yeah.
do. And so I just kind of like, okay, like we said earlier, you kind of go with the mindset like, oh, this is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, it's not.
Yeah. Or it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be, right?
Or it
It
doesn't
doesn't
have
have
to
to be.
be.
It's a choice. Like we can choose to say this is the way it's going to be, or it's one way. That I was talking to a client today, and I just was kind of like, you have a decision to make. You can either do the steps that are going to move you forward, or make the conscious decision that this is as far as you're going to go.
Hmm.
That's the and it got quiet, right? Because that is the either you're going to do the work or you're not, right?
Yeah.
But if you're not going to do it, then you're going to stay exactly where. So don't be complaining to me, right? Like, because you have now made a choice to not. So even when people don't make not making a decision, it's still a decision, right?
Hmm. Hmm. And when you take that accountability, that not making a decision is a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you are aligning that with your goals and the things that you want, you have to have a real conversation with yourself. And
Yes.
so, entrepreneurship rerequires hard conversations and real conversations, or you're not going to make it.
Yeah, absolutely. I often say, it's time for me to have a come to Jesus moment. Like, girl, do you want this or not? Like,
Mhm.
and if you do want this, are you willing to sacrifice the things, change the things, adapt to the things that you need to do in order to get to where you say you want to go, right?
Right.
Because I would have it that transitioning from hair to nails to now saying, okay, I'm going to step out on my own, that's a lot of pivots. And on top of that, it's not a guarantee that just because the people get their hair done, they want their nails done. And the people who want their nails done, they want massages, right? So
Right.
you can't even bank on the fact that, oh, I got all these clients here. They're gonna transition over here. No, they may not. They be like, I ain't into that. I don't want nobody rubbing my back. Like
And it's a true thing because
yeah.
there are people who are not a fan of being touched.
Right, exactly, exactly. So, what have you learned about yourself doing this journey that you didn't know before?
Whew. I learned that I have a very high tolerance for I'm a glutton for punishment. Because entrepreneurship will beat you up, and I'm like, I'm coming back for more. I'm
Exactly,
like, why am I coming back for more?
because we crazy.
So I'm like, you like getting beat up,
Yes,
okay?
yes. It's almost like I would make fun of my husband all the time because, we're in the Prince George's County, so he has been they're gonna be the Redskins because that's what they mama named him. So I'm gonna call them the Redskins, okay? He's been a Redskin fan. And I just be like, why you don't just leave I just want you to know you're in an abusive relationship. This right here is ridiculous. You get so sad, so disappointed, down and out. And my father is the same way. I have watched this man rearrange the kitchen more times than I can count because they lose. And where do they be on Sunday? Right in front of that
Right
TV churn.
there. They're like, we are not bandwagon fans. We are
No,
true
they
fans.
sticking beside them. And so will we. Like we have moments we quit. I don't want this. I done told the Lord, give it to somebody else. Then I'm like, wait, no, come back. Come back. No, no, no. I'm gonna do it today. For
I
today,
was
I'm gonna
just
work.
playing. I was just playing.
I was just playing. But yeah, like I love that being a glutton for punishment. So what has that taught you having to allow yourself to get beat up every day?
To me, what it said to me is that obviously there's something deeper that you
Mm,
feel.
mm,
And someone asked me this question recently, like, what success means to me. And like for me now, what success means is like, are you in alignment with the things that fall in your spirit and the things that that you feel like you should be doing. And
yeah.
so for me, that's what it's really taught me. It's taught me that, hey, you keep going back to this because there's something deeper that you haven't uncovered. There's something deeper
Yeah.
that it's calling for your attention, or there's something about this space that is calling for you to be that person.
Mm.
And that's why you're feeling that, like, I want to give it up, but I just keep going back for more.
I love that. I think that is the way you explained that is so perfect, right? Because this journey of entrepreneurship, you are learning so many things about yourself, right?
Right.
Like I said earlier, it requires you to pivot, it requires you to change, it requires you to treat other people differently, right? You now interact with every person as a potential customer. That determines how you know what I'm saying? Like I have moments where I have to be mindful about like how do I show up in regular spaces because now people know who I am. And so you say you know me. So if I'm out here wilding, you gonna be like, what's she talking about? Some old, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I want her helping me with my life the way she out, you know what I'm saying? So it makes you like with other people have the freedom to just be who they are. Well, I'm still who I am. Like, I think that's the other part too. Like, yes, I'm a little bit more careful, and I'm mindful, but I'm still me. Like I always say the same thing. You're gonna get me this the same energy you're gonna get in every setting that you meet me. However, I'm more fully aware that every person that I interact with is a potential client. And I
Mhm.
don't ever want you to think that I don't have your best interest at heart or that I'm not willing to, encourage or empower you to be able to do what you need to do and bring fear along with you. So I have to show up in those spaces and I will have it like it being in the beauty industry requires for you to have to maintain a certain aura. Ha!
Oh,
Look
yes.
at what I just did there.
I see what you did there.
I see
I
you
love it.
see you see you see you see it. And so how do you feel like that has transitioned over the years?
Man, so it it has transitioned in so many ways because when you do begin to show up in certain spaces, people subconsciously hold you to a certain regard,
Mhm,
and they
mhm,
do put this subconscious pressure on you, right, to like be a certain way or things of that nature. And I agree with what you said, like you're always going to get me, but you get me in these different elements,
mhm,
because think about it, and people don't realize that we are different in different settings.
mhm.
You're still you,
Yeah,
but like the person that you are when you are at a swimming pool versus at a courthouse is
right.
going to be different. It's
At
not
least it
saying you're
should
not
be.
right. You're not going to wear a suit to the swimming pool.
Right.
You're going to show up to that particular place, still yourself, but fitting to that environment. And so I
Mhm.
say the same thing to people when it comes down to this. Like you're still going to get me in whatever environment. And every now and then I'm going to be human.
Right. Yeah. Which is, and I think the thing about it is that it's so important that that's the case because in what we do, in providing service, right, and not products, um, people are people connect with you before they use your services, whatever they may be, right? And particularly in, you know, like my service is coaching, and so that's an internal, like that's real personal, right? I gotta undress. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need to know that you're not, like, I need to feel safe with you, right? That there's a sense of safety that I have to be vulnerable in front of you, knowing that you're going to be taking care of my body and, the people that work with you and all of those things, that you know what you're doing. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ever had somebody like, there's people that rebel in your back. You're like, just stop. Like, are you in the wrong? Like, come on now. Like, if you don't know what you're doing, that's like getting your kids to be like, I remember when I was a kid in George Jefferson, and they would it wasn't on when I was a kid because I'm not that old, but whenever I would see George Jefferson, he had her Florence stepping on his back or Weezy stepping on his back. And I used to think that that's what people did. And so, like, when I had kids, I was like, yeah, step on my back. And I was like, this hurts. Like, this is not comfortable. Why did he want that? Like, but whatever it was just like, we don't know. Right. But, having a massage or having that is a very personal space, and you have to feel safe with the people. And so that, like you said, how I show up matters, because I need you to feel comfortable with me in a very vulnerable position. So you need to know that I know how to handle myself in that space. And if I
Mhm.
can watch you, and it's not change, but adapt to every environment appropriately, then I'm like, oh, okay, she cool with me. That will work. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a good thing. So let us talk about traveling, or I want to talk about this, like, how we get to it being a mobile spa. Like, you transition from nails to skincare, and then what? And then what? How we get here?
So I kept thinking about I want to do something different. I've now decided I'm not going to go to law school,
Mhm.
um, and I'm gonna keep working in the beauty industry. And so I'm like, I need something different because I tend to get bored. As you can hear, my inquisitiveness started at such a young age. So I'm
Yeah.
constantly looking for something to get into. That's just
Mhm.
kind of how I've always been. And so I was thinking about this mobile, and I'm like, man, there's not really anything that exists out there.
Mhm.
And so one of my clients came into the spa on the regular, and she just randomly got emotional and she started crying. And she was like, have you ever thought about going mobile? My elderly grandmother, she's in a she's in a assisted living facility,
Mhm.
and I would love for you to like go out and service her, because she's one of those women that always love to get those services done,
Yeah.
and it's harder to get her out to get those services. And so when she asked me that, I had not shared with anyone that I
Mm.
was
Mhm.
thinking about being mobile.
Okay,
And
God be
so
working.
when she asked me this question, I took that as a sign, like,
Yeah.
hey, this is a sign that this is something you should consider. Something's pulling you further into this direction. And so
Mhm.
she was not in the beauty industry. She had a manicure table. She's like, I would like to gift this to you as a token of
Oh,
encouraging you to move in this direction. I still have the table till this day.
oh, I love
Why
that.
she had this table, I have no idea.
For you.
Because she and the rest is history. And then I started my so this is my second company. I had a
Okay.
prototype company where it was nails only.
Mhm.
And then I realized that I wanted to people to have the whole spa experience, and so I added the skincare and the massages so that we can incorporate that entire element.
Yeah, yeah, I love
Mhm.
that. It's so interesting how you're actually the second person that I've heard that had some kind of a similar story of someone random, right? Saying something that only you and God knew, right? Like only that it was on your heart that you knew that this is something like there's no way they could have known that this is what you were thinking about. And it's just a beautiful thing because those are the things that remind us in those on those days when we want to quit. It's like, no, I started this for a reason. Like it's more to it than just making money, right? Like it's more to it than that. It literally is a calling that I have to do because it's something, like you said, it's something about it that keeps calling me. Okay. It's just keep calling me, right? Like it's something about it that says I have to be in this space. And I think that when you take ownership and accountability of that, only you can do what you do. Only you can do what you do the way you do it. And it's a reminder also that there's space for every single one of us, all of our ideas, all the things that we think that it's a like you said, I only thought there was one way it could be done, right? And then and child, and now you probably was ahead of your time when
Yeah.
you were ahead of your time when you started this because now people like pull up because I ain't even trying to. I don't have to grocery shop. I don't have to drop off. No. I don't have to go to the grocery store. Don't have to go to the mall. I don't have to do. People do not need to leave their house to do anything anymore.
No.
Nothing.
And that's the direction the world, COVID taught us that that's the direction
Yes.
the world is moving in, right? It's about
Mhm.
convenience.
Mhm.
What can I have come to me? And so now it's not far fetched for people to have certain services and products come to their door
Yeah.
anymore because we have the lovely things called phones.
Correct. Right. Everything is so accessible to us. So it is definitely something that is is necessary. So one of the questions that I have, with you being a mobile spot, no, you ain't in Maryland, but for
Coming
those
soon.
coming, okay, then coming soon, y'all. You heard it here. It's an exclusive, okay.
You heard it
Uh,
here first.
so in Fort Lauderdale, because Florida big. How
Mhm.
so for my Florida listeners, okay? Somebody's asking, well, how far she go, right? Because even Fort Lauderdale ain't small, but how far for how far in the state do you travel to?
So, if you are listening and you are in the Florida area, I have good news for you because we actually cover the Tri County, which is
Oh,
South Florida. So we cover three counties, which is Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and West Palm Beach. We've
nice.
even gone to the Florida Keys, and our goal. When everything goes as planned and we grow to the level that I envision, we
Hmm.
will make our way up the Florida coast, which is why I'm saying to you that it's not far fetched for us to come to Maryland soon because we do. It's a transient city. A lot
Yeah.
of people fly in here from other places, and we've
Hmm.
serviced people in the Maryland area, and they're like, "Listen, let me know when you come." So we've started over the years compiling a list of all of our out of state people that are like, "Hey, come to our state," and I'm like, "Listen, coming soon. Just give
And
me some
listen,
time.
I love
Give me
that.
some time."
I love that. So, just so I think you mentioned it, but I want to make sure that we get it. So, what services do you provide? And what does it look like? Like, so take us through like what would it would look like if somebody scheduled you? What are your offerings? What do you offer?
Yes, so we offer massages, nails, facials, and workshops.
Oh,
So
okay,
we
workshops.
Yeah. So our workshops we do for groups. So we do have like bridal parties. Sometimes people want to do a facial workshop. So we bring all of the products. They get with their girlfriends. They're having their mimosas, and we walk them through how to
Nice.
properly perform your own at-home facial using
Mm,
professional products, but then also answering their questions because a lot of people don't know proper skincare.
correct.
Um, so we do that for them. And so we also do the workshops on the corporate level. A lot of employers bring us in to build morale in the workplace,
Nice.
who have like a wellness program. So we will
Mm-hmm.
either talk to them about self care, the importance of stretching in
Mm-hmm.
between your work hours. And then sometimes they do chair massages with us. So we'll go in and do chair massages into their conference rooms. And so that's what we do on the workshop side. We also work with luxury condos. A lot of them have a concierge. So
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
they reach out to us, and so they're like, hey, can you service our building? There are people reaching out to us that want to be serviced. And so we do have a team of 15 people that help us
Yes.
cover the services here in the South Florida area. We are growing. We're still small. We're growing. I recently made some changes to the company just because there are some things we are missing that we need in order to make our process more efficient. So
Yeah.
we are a membership only right now. So you
Okay.
will need to become a member in order to get services. Because we service a big terrain, it
Yeah.
became kind of crazy for
I
us.
can imagine
And
that is it. If
so
somebody saying, "Oh, I need you to come here for this. I need you to come here for this." No, that's too much.
yes. So the next phase of the business is for us to add a tech element where we can have an app where our team can make alterations to their schedule, but then our clients can also book easily with no problem. And so when we bring the tech element, we will take off the membership only. But
Okay.
right now, it's like in order for us to provide quality service, that's how we're doing.
Yeah. Listen, quality over quantity because that's why how stuff gets watered down, messed up. Okay, because you out here chasing the bag, and then people like, see, it ain't even right no more, right? Like because and we can't be out here promoting wellness and these employees not well. Okay, like that.
Right. And we looking like we don't know if we're coming or going. Like that
Right.
is not what we're promoting.
Not at all. We don't want any of that. Ryan, I am so glad that you joined me today. I'm so grateful that I'm happy for you. Like I could tell as you were sharing the growth and what is happening, like it brings you joy. So if you remember this podcast episode, if you ever are doubting yourself, like this boy, it brings a renewed type of like, yes, this is what I'm doing. Okay. And people are waiting for me in Prince George's County,
Yes.
Maryland. Okay. We are waiting for you. Okay. 900 miles away. We got to do is go up 95. That's where we at. Okay. Just keep going. It's a straight shot.
Yes, for the directions.
Yes. Just make sure you clear. You don't even have to take no exit. You just go get on 95, keep going. Okay. That's all you got to do. But how can people connect with you?
Yes. So if you are wanting to connect with me on the mobile spa side and you're looking for mobile spa services, you can find me on Traveling Aura, Traveling 1L, common spelling, AURA, on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. I want to say Twitter. I want to say X.
Child,
Hey.
like just like I said, the Redskins. His mama named him Twitter. He gonna be Twitter. Okay, I can't. It just looked dumb on my phone, right? Like I'm just like I always be like, what is this? I don't remember. Then I'm like, stupid Twitter.
Right. I still haven't adapted as well. So um, our website is travelingaura.com. You can find us there and you can visit our website if you are interested in embarking on the mobile spa journey. I am opening this space for consulting. People have been reaching out who've been wanting to go
Nice.
mobile, whether they're like, hey, I don't want to be as big as you, but I do want to have better processes. So people have
Yeah.
been reaching out to me to help them walk through the mobile spa journey.
Let's go.
So you can find out, you can reach out to me about consulting on Instagram. You can find me radiant_rain. So I look forward to hearing from you if you're listening.
Yes, y'all already know all this information is going to be in the show notes. We're going to make sure that y'all can get connected with her, organization. My parents live in Florida. I don't think they live in that tri area, but they drive 100 miles for crabs. My mama might drive wherever she need to go for a mobile spa. Okay.
I love it.
Wait till I tell her. Okay. Brain, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you sharing your story, sharing your journey with us, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for creating this space for us to talk about what's missing on this journey, because someone needs to hear it. So I want to congratulate you, and also give you a shout out as well, because I know the journey is not easy to be consistent.
Yes. Girl. Okay. See, now we about to go into a whole no, we go to a whole nother episode just about that part. Just about that part. Thank you so much. I've received that for sure. As always, y'all, thank you for rocking with me. Again, if you enjoyed this podcast and you find it valuable, you enjoy this channel and you find it valuable, please consider donating by buying me a coffee. Your support will help me to create new content, get an official podcast studio, and ultimately reach more people. That's what we need. We need more people on this movement. Okay. If you're not already signed up to the newsletter, go to my website, www.slayingselfdoubt.com, and sign up for the Slayer Nation newsletter. That's where you'll get updates, where you'll get what's going on. You'll get the news first. You don't have to wait until I announce it or hear. Okay. And lastly, well, second to last, please make sure that you share this with at least 10 people. We are trying to reach 100,000 downloads this year, and every subscription, every share counts. So we need it. We need you to send it out to your peoples so they can help us hit our goal this year. Lastly, if you are not already following me on Instagram, you need to go on over there and follow me at Slaying Self Doubt. Until the next episode, see ya.